Eric Sonderson from College Baseball Today here with my good buddy from Cal State Northridge, Coach Rousey. Thanks for coming in, Coach.
Thanks for having me.
If you notice him smiling a little bit, I think it's because he knows he's got a pretty good team coming back this year. One of the things the first thing I wanted to ask you about actually was, I just kind of doing research for the season. I started kind of looking at some of the results you guys had last year, some of the players you had coming back. I started thinking this might be kind of one of those off-the-radar teams that could be pretty good. Is that kind of like maybe ready to turn the corner? Is that kind of how you feel too about your program?
Well, yes.
Yeah.
I don't look at us that way. I look at what we did last year and how we can improve on it. And so if I was looking from an outsider's perspective, I would come up with the same judgments.
Now, your pitching rotation returns almost intact, if I'm not mistaken, and Andrew Murin returns after taking a season off. Could this be your best pitching staff that you've had in your years there at Northridge?
I think it will be.
Yeah.
If they perform reasonably well, they'll be the best pitching staff I've had since the 2002 team when I was the pitching coach and Murphy and Lowe and those guys won the Big West. But, yeah, we're pretty deep on the pitching staff.
Now, your defense kind of struggled a little bit last year, and that was one of the problems, I guess you would say. Is that been addressed this year? Do you think the problems have been fixed?
Well, we'll find out. I'm not going to lie and say that everything's going to be fixed because you have to go out and perform. We have made some changes. One of the things we've done is we've gone through a fall competition period where we've settled in on positions, and whoever won the job, and they're going to play there every day, short of needing a rest or an injury coming along. So I'm hoping that we can create a little bit more continuity in that sense and fewer errors, frankly.
Now, what would you say would be the strength of your team coming back this year? Would it be the pitching rotation, or what would you say would be the strength of your squad? I'd
say there's two. The pitching depth, not necessarily the rotation. I think we've got 8-10 guys that are solid pitchers, and we can pitch a good game and run 4 or 5 guys out there, as opposed to running 4 or 5 guys out there because there's been a problem somewhere in the game. And we have team speed that we haven't had before. We've got a kid named Ridge Carpenter at the top of our lineup, a JC transfer, Hawaiian young man that can really fly. Andrew Murin, the older of the two, will hit second. Pineda runs well, hitting third. We've got speed in left field and at the bottom of our lineup with C.J. Bellinger and T.S. Reed in the infield there. So we're going to run a lot better than we have in the past, and I think that might help us against some of these great Big West pitchers that are hard to hit. Yeah, it
always does. That kind of hard scrabble play in the Big West does help. Now, you've had Baseball America called your recruiting class one of the sleepers in the nation. You've had 2 good recruiting classes. What do you expect from them this year? What do you expect from some of the new guys? Who should we look for?
Well, I usually do not expect a lot from new guys, especially if they're freshmen. But we had some really good freshman performances. The younger Murin, Alex Murin, performed well on the mound and at the plate in our fall program. He'll be one of our 4 starting pitchers, and he'll hit a lot, probably in matchup situations. We had a young man named Christian Allen who won our DH job. He's a first baseman, but he's not going to knock Dominic Deanna out of that this year. Yeah. So he'll DH for us. He performed really well, power guy at the plate, and we had a good, solid performance from a big freshman lefty named Bennett Perry, who will be he'll be our #1 lefty on the team, and we'll try to put him in the game when we need him most. So he's going to pitch a lot. So those 3 guys come to mind the most as freshmen.
Yeah.
We've got this Dominic Piazza, no relation, who is a catcher, and he can really hit. Yeah. He's left-handed, though.
And he was drafted last June, if I'm not mistaken.
No, he wasn't. Okay. He's out of Yavapai JC in Arizona. Originally went to Nebraska. And left there, went to 2 years of JC at Yavapai, and he's with us. He's an interesting hitter because he's played in the Northwoods League each of his 3 post seasons, and in Arizona JC ball they swing wood. The guy hasn't swung a metal bat for 3 years, and so he's kind of liking that.
Yeah. A lot to like about your team to begin with. Look forward to seeing how you guys turn out this year. Thanks very much, Coach. Appreciate
Thanks a lot, Eric.
All right.